Hello everyone, Pokenixie here, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, make yourself at home and hop in on the ride to create a Poland-based region called Lecha. We finally have a name! Isn't it exciting? Oh my goodness! Okay, I know it's been a while, so it's time to come back and show you my new Fakemon. I made them a while ago, but life had changed a lot since my last video, and despite having everything prepared for this particular video you're watching right now, I couldn't finish it. Yeah, life got in the way. Kind of had other interests and everything. Oh my goodness, I became way more social than I usually am. Which isn't usual for me. Because I'm usual. I'm very antisocial, believe me or not. But recently everything had changed and I'm just all over the place. That's why, yeah, I focus on my real life friends. I have them. Jesus, finally. Also, excuse my voice because, I just came back from Poland Rock, which is the best festival in the world. Oh my goodness, I had so much fun. I'm all bruised up. I feel amazing. Oh my gosh, my way home was brutal though. We couldn't find any kind of transport for hours, and oh my gosh, it was bad. But we made it home somehow. It took 12 hours in total. I still had so much fun. But anyways, let's finally, after this much time, move on to Fakemon based this time on Polish breeds of dogs. So the first one I'm gonna show you today is based on a Tatra Shepherd dog. It's a very big and fluffy white dog, which is just gorgeous. Just look at this droopy face, look at this, it's so cute, my goodness. So I'm gonna tell you about its history right now. First mentions of this breed come from the 17th century, believe me or not. They were initially used as guard dogs against wolves and bandits. Their white coat was easier to distinguish from grey wolves. That's why their white coats were preferred by the owners. Other than that, they were used for herding and finding lost livestock. So whenever one would, stray away and was nowhere to be found, those dogs came to the rescue. They're very independent and fearless dogs. So you really don't want to piss them off. They can be aggressive whenever you really mess with those dogs. Of course, there are no bad dogs. They're just bad owners. So you really have to be good to those dogs and train them well. They don't respond well to beating and screaming. Actually, if you discipline your dog in an aggressive way, you'll get completely reversed results. So please don't beat your dogs. Don't yell at them. They don't deserve it. They're such precious babies. Well, back to the breed. They are most probably related to Hungarian Kuvas, which are also white dogs, and they're also gorgeous. Check them out. But yeah, even though the Polish Tatra Shepherd is an old breed, they were officially bred in a controlled way in a kennel since around the 1920s. After the First World War, they were used as an affirmation of Polish independence. And after the Second World War, the Polish Kennel Club took over the creation of this breed and still continues to do so to this day. So now that we know something about this beautiful dog, how about I present to you Pupik, an adventurous Pokemon. Pupik is an especially playful Pokemon who enjoys lots of attention and going on long walks in the mountains. Always keeps someone company because it despises being alone. Very skilled hiker, but also a great watcher for herd Pokemon such as Wolfer. However, sometimes instead of herding, it prefers to make friends with Wolfer, which Pupik can be taught out of with a lot of patience and training. It's recommended for the Pokemon's safety. And yeah, now you may wonder, what is a Wolfer? What is a Wolfer, Nixie? You'll see somewhere in the future, once I make it. But yeah, expect a sheep Pokemon soon. Now, I think it's a good time to move on to the next evolution of this line. So to be honest with you, I forgot how much I struggled with the sketch of this second form, but after rewatching the speed paint, I remember now what took me this much to get it right, because the most trouble I've had with the design was incorporating the Eye of the Sea onto its back between all the mountains. So now you may wonder, what is the Eye of the Sea? Well, Eye of the Sea is the largest and deepest lake in the Tatra Mountains, which is where the dog comes from. Well, exactly, Podhale. It's actually kind of close. So it makes sense together, trust me. But the Eye of the Sea is located in the Tatra National Park in the Fishbrook Valley. It was recognized in the Wall Street Journal as one of the most beautiful lakes in the world. That's why you should absolutely visit it. Oh, absolutely. Just look at the pictures. Just look at them. How can you not visit it? It's gorgeous. Wow. Have I been there? Now let me think about it. Maybe I should go there, actually. But by the way, there's a legend about the lake. And the legend says that the Eye of the Sea is connected to the actual Baltic Sea via an underground tunnel. And that's why it's called Eye of the Sea, you know? And so because we like legends, let's mention this one. Why not? It's a very short one. So back in the days, people thought that trees falling due to avalanches that ended up in the waters of this lake were actually masts of sunken ships. That's why people speculated, oh, there must be a tunnel to the sea through this lake. And unfortunately, it's just a myth. People had actually dove to check if there's a tunnel there, but it's just a lake. It was created by glaciers during the Ice Age, and that's why it ended up here. But what's interesting about it, though, there are somehow naturally occurring fish that are very uncommon for this region of Poland, like some trout, from what I've heard. But yeah, isn't that cool? How the world just mixes itself up and somehow weird animals happen in weird places. And they hadn't been brought by people there. They are naturally occurring. That's fascinating. I like stuff like this. I don't know about you. But yeah, speaking of the dog's design, because there's always the most snow in Tatras, you know, it always falls the earliest and melts away the latest, because, I mean, those are the mountains. That's just the weather there. But I just figured I had to add the second typing to this Dogman. I just thought it would be appropriate to make it also an ice type instead of just a rock type. So here is Hilai, a Pokemon Shepherd. Great and powerful protector, full of fierce and bravery. Will never back down when it sees someone in danger. Seems to be solitary at first glance, when in reality it's very keen on having someone close. Hilai has a distinct need for feeling useful and loves getting praise for its hard work. Without anything to do, it easily becomes frantic and seeks others in need. I'm actually very proud of Hilai's design. I'm so glad that I finally just got it right and it came out like this. Also, speaking of the shinies of those ones, both the Puppik and Hilai, those are like summer versions of them. If you look at Puppik's eyebrows, they kind of look like little trees. I'm kind of happy about it. It wasn't intentional, but you can think of them as tiny trees, almost like pine trees or something. But yeah. Now that you know both Hilai and Puppik, let's move on to more electric dogs. So this Dogman is based on a Pomeranian. And I know Pomeranians are technically a German breed, because at the time of its creation, Pomerania was entirely within the German borders, but you know what, screw that. I'm from Pomerania, and I'm part German, so I identify with this dog. Thus, I get to decide if it's Polish or not, okay? So shush. Shush you. By the way, I just learned that some of you call this dog a tumbleweed. I'm in love, and with this design it works even better. Like, tumbleweed, really? So cute. Anyways, let's get back to the history. Let's get into the history of a Pomeranian. Turns out they descended from a German Spitz and was originally bred in Pomerania. And the breed was popular among royalties from United Kingdom. For example, owned by Queen Charlotte and Queen Victoria. Speaking of Queen Victoria, she established a kennel for those dogs. And she bred them to be smaller in size because that made them gain popularity. Thanks to Queen Victoria, their size dropped by 50%. Like, how? Of course, by selective breeding. She even imported smallest Pomeranians from around Europe just to make them even smaller in size. And we can see that today. They're tiny and cute. They're just little fluff balls. They're so adorable. But yeah, because Pomeranians are usually playful but also tend to be aggressive to prove themselves to other animals or dogs specifically. I wanted to make this mon very mischievous. I want them to be a little piece of gun, you know? They also tend to be quite loud, which I think fits the electric typing very well. Imagine a thunderous bark coming at you from this little body. Oh my goodness, that would be amazing. But yeah, as you can see from this Pete vein, at first I wanted to rip off Pikachu's colors just to make it consistent with the actual Pokemon, but by the end of it, I changed it to make it more unique. So here is Zapop, a static Pokemon. Super energetic Pokemon who rubs itself against rough surfaces to charge its spiky electric fur. It zaps everyone who attempts to touch it. Despite its aggression, Zapop is more talk than action and is nervous around larger opponents. When in danger, it discharges big amounts of static energy to discourage their attacker, then proceeds to escape at incredible speed. When properly trained, it becomes a lovely companion to carry around. Look at this little fella, isn't he cute? Look at his zappy cheeks and everything. I want to cuddle it, but I know it comes with consequences. It's just something about it. It has a lot of charm, in my opinion. But yeah, now let's move on to his evolution. So since I don't have much else to say about this breed, I can tell you a story about how I rescued a Pomeranian puppy. I got lost next to an intersection, running around and playfully greeting anyone passing by. So I kind of got worried because it didn't have a color or anything. I asked around to check if there's an owner nearby, but nobody was like admitting to it. Nobody declared themselves as an owner to me, so I was like, dang it, I can't just leave it there. What if it runs under a car and it dies? Like, I couldn't just leave him here. So I decided to take him home and posted around the forums if anyone lost their Pom, and nobody reached out for hours, literally. So because I had only cat food, I fed him some cat food, and I figured, okay, nobody's reaching out to me, so I guess I have to call a shelter. So I called a local shelter to ask if anyone is looking for the puppy, but because no one reached out to them, they wanted to pick it up from me. But first they said that they will call me back because they needed some time. They didn't have time at the moment, and they said something about me having to wait at least 2 hours, and it was already late. Yeah, it was rough. But after literally 10 minutes, they called me back, and turns out the owner was found, and I got their number. So I had to carry this dog to the same street where I found him, turns out. It was a 20-minute walk. It wasn't that close, and my arms were dying by the end of it. Because, yeah, despite it being tiny, after a while of carrying something this small, it gets heavy. Especially that it moves around, it's squirmy. That was rough. But yeah, I met the owner, and well, they seemed quite shy and not very sociable, so the interaction was quite awkward. But they accepted the dog and just went away. I think they were a little bit intimidated by my looks because, I dress up as a metalhead, and, I might seem intimidating at first, but I'm not really. Trust me, I'm just an oddball. But yeah, still, they called me a day later and asked me if I want any compensation. They asked me if I want money as a reward for getting the dog back to them. I was like, no, I'm not really looking for the reward. I was just happy that the dog made it home, honestly. I know what it's like to lose a dog, and it's very stressful, and you never know if it will ever come back to you, So I figured, I'm just glad you got the dog back. I'm happy that you're happy. But they were like insisting, they were pressuring me, please accept, at least we can do anything for you, whatever you want. I figured, you know what, I draw more lately, so I guess I want a drawing block. I could use some A4 paper, So they bought me the brand that I wanted, and we met up again. They gifted me the block alongside with some sweets and everything. We actually had a more pleasant interaction. It turns out the puppy was 4 months old. I have his picture. I still kept it. It was like a few years ago, but I still kept the picture. Just look at this cute little face. Those little beady eyes. Oh my goodness. It was very friendly, very shy. It was like, I felt so bad for the puppy. But I'm so glad that the owners were found. They were very nice, but they were just kind of afraid of me. I don't know. But yeah, back to the design. Because Pomeranians are some of the fluffiest dogs ever, I figured making it a storm cloud would make perfect sense. It's fluffy, but it can definitely snap at you. Look at those thunders. But despite their mischief, they're still very cute, and I wanted to preserve some of that cuteness in the design and character, which you'll see in a bit. I dulled down the colors to make it stand out a bit more from its previous evolution, and I'm actually very happy with the second form, not gonna lie. So here is Thunderanian, Pokemon Thundercloud. Mischievous little dog who floats around and zaps other Pokemon and even people as a painful prank. When it levitates, it moves its paws in a swimming motion to help itself charge more electricity. Obeys only their favorite person, which makes it difficult to trade. Easily makes friends with Zapdops and other electric Pokemon and loves to carry the smaller ones around on their back. It's dangerous fun, because then they shock others together. Oh yeah, remember that cute element? Yes, it's like, you know when you hover a dog over a body of water and they start just moving their paws? That's kind of what I imagine when seeing the Thunderanian in motion. Oh, it's just adorable. But yes, I really hope you like those Fakemon. I figured dog Fakemon are the bestest boys, so it just makes me so happy to see them in action. So yeah, next up, you can expect the reveal of the Eagling's evolution line. I mentioned Eagling in one of my previous videos, and I guess you might wonder what it looks like, right? So, expect it in the next video. It will take me some research though on Polish history, because I suck at history. I didn't pay attention during lessons. But stay tuned either way. I'll make my research, I'll get prepared, and I'll deliver. After this, I'll finish the starters, and I'll probably do something about Wolfer that was mentioned in Poppy's little description. But speaking of starters, I just cannot wait to show you what I have in mind. They will be so badass! I can't wait. Anyways, like and subscribe and join me on the journey. Here are my socials, and goodbye. But despite their mischief, despite their mischief,